Last episode, we returned to the town and built a big redstone factory with a bonus blaze farm. And in this episode, we'll be building a honey farm and limestone factory with bonus calcite too. Welcome back everyone. I think I want to fill in some areas over here closer to the main storage over there. And I'm thinking where I've kind of placed this cobblestone is where we're going to have our honey farm. I think the first thing I'm actually going to do is make a little small cage of leaves and such with some azalea leaves kind of spread in between, because I do want to create a little bit of a temporary home for our bees while I'm building the main structure. And I think something as simple as this will do for now. We obviously have our flowering azalea leaves for the bees to pollinate themselves with, and now I need to just go and get myself some beehives. Now over in this cherry grove, I know that I saw some beehives over here, and I think I actually picked up one and moved it at some point. I have one here, it currently has one bee in it, and I believe I have two over here. Yeah, here we go. Two bee nests over here, both with 3 bees in actually. Although apparently I can't pick these up with carry on. I thought I could. Unfortunately, all our bees have gotten out now, so I'm gonna have to wait for them to get back in, but let me figure out a way of picking these up. I might just have to use some minecart contraptions, I think. Scratch that, I found the setting to be able to pick these up. We take this over to our little leaf cage, I guess. We can place our beehive in there, and I think a bee just got out. Yep, it sure did. Get back in, please. Thank you. And I think I'm going to grab some flowers from my storage because I would like to breed some of these bees together. So grab some cornflower. Then I can also actually grab the stuff that I need for a beehive. And I do luckily already have some honeycomb. So we can make at least one for now. We can just throw this inside and maybe give our bees some flowers. There we go. We have our first 2 bees together, and there's our little tiny bee. Oh my god, they are actually so cute, especially with that new animation mod. Perfect. And I think I'll go and grab the other ones as well, just so we can speed this process up a little bit. Yoink. And another yoink. Now this one only has 2 bees in it, so at least I have space for another bee. I'm not sure where the other one went. That's okay. And I think that will do for now. I can try and breed up some more of these bees as well. It looks like I can do this one, but I'll have to wait for another bee to come out. This one just bred recently. Okay, there we go. I bred up a few more, so we have, I think, 4 baby bees now, including ones that are still in the beehives. And while they grow up, I think it's time to build our honey farm. And I do want this to look a bit like a greenhouse or like a sanctuary of sorts. So I'm going to need a bunch of spruce, which I can get from my tree farm, but I also want some yellow terracotta. That kind of, you know, it's the same color as honey. And I think I have a yellow bucket of dye here, which I do. And I can also grab some terracotta, although I do actually have some yellow terracotta, so I guess I can grab that as well. There we go. And over here, what I've been doing is pulling out our water and then just throwing in our dye. So I can then just throw in some more terracotta for that to turn into yellow terracotta. And I'm going to cut some of these up into the column style. Well, let's grab our stripped spruce logs and turn these into some edge stripped spruce logs as well. And then kind of start building the basic structure of this little greenhouse I'm going to do. And I think something this size will do just nicely. And I think you can kind of agree as well that the yellow terracotta, I think, looks quite a lot like honey without, you know, actually being honey. I, of course, need to landscape around so it's not just on a big slab of dirt. But we'll get to that once completed more of the structure. I think I'll just continue capping this off with some more stripped spruce logs. And then use some of this oak diamond bordered glass in between, because I kind of like how that looks. In fact, actually, instead of using some logs here as well, I think I may also try and throw in our terracotta up here as well. And I think I can throw some of these pointless spruce trap doors, as they're called, which is kind of hilarious, just so they at least have like a wooden outline. And then I think also throw in some stairs and maybe a glowstone lantern at the top. And I'm liking how that's looking. I think I'm going to probably repeat that design all around and then come up with some kind of entranceway as well. And I think something on these lines will work. I added some of these folding doors to get on the inside using some of this green glass. And hopefully that should mean that none of the bees get out. And then as for the roof itself, I think I want to use a bunch of stairs and slabs, but actually maybe just stairs to kind of slowly move up towards the center. I think something on those lines will work. Can use some more spruce logs in between everything, perhaps up a little to stick out the top. There's of course our glass that we were doing. And that could be more or less what I want for the sides of the building. As for the roof itself, I think I am just going to keep using some stripped spruce logs and bring it all the way to the other side. And I think use some more of this kind of green stained glass that I used for the entrance doors over there. Then I think probably just fill in this area with some more stairs to cover up the holes and then continue that design pretty much more or less all the way along. And there we go. I went ahead and kind of decorated the outside as well. Added some of these picket fences, obviously some grass, more azalea leaves, a little table, and fix up the landscaping as well so that it's not just a floating bit of dirt. And as you may also see at the top here, I've also got this kind of honey bottle that's kind of tilting over and spilling honey into the inside. Now, obviously the inside is notably not full of honey right now. And that's because I do want to fill this with honey blocks at some point, but I just haven't made enough yet. I did set up a small little tank back here, which is slowly filling up with honey from the beehives on the inside, but about 13 buckets is probably not enough right now. In fact, I know it's not enough, but we do have 6 beehives in here now, and as you can tell, a lot of bees. So my hope now is to start moving them onto the inside, where I think I might add a little honey river kind of going through the middle, which of course I am going to need, again, more honey. But a little honey river going through the middle, which the bees shouldn't be killed by as far as I'm aware, because I think water does. And I'm also hoping that the bees don't try and escape through that hole there. I don't think they will. I'm not actually sure. But for now, I think what I'm going to do is actually remove some of these windows back here. I think I want to place some tanks down to actually hold on to all of our honey, one on each side. And then I think from our honey source here, I obviously said I do want to make a kind of river. You can just kind of have it meander through towards these tanks, potentially even splitting up into 2 separate branches. Then have a couple of pipes, I think, just coming out from the tanks into the river, although I won't actually use these pipes because what I think I'm going to do is decorate the inside of this place with a bunch of different plants, mosses, etc., so that we have a rather nice environment of sorts. And we can kind of shortcut this a little bit by just throwing some moss down, I think, and using some bone meal on top of that just to spread it around. And also, of course, throw down things like sunflowers and other little flowers too for the bees to interact with. And then with this room all nicely filled with flowers and stuff, I'm going to want to figure out some spots. I want to place some beehives and then obviously pipe them up. So let me dig a few spots in the ground here just to get an idea of where I think I want some of these to be. And then probably try and connect up all these holes together so that we can pipe them all up. Then of course I also need to actually pipe them in the tanks themselves. Probably going to have to place a pump down here just to make sure that it's all moving towards the tanks. So let's get these pipes in. And I'm not going to overly complicate this pump design. I think we're just going to use a little tiny water wheel like we did with our other one. There we go. And I guess the next thing is to start moving some of the beehives in here. And I must admit, this is probably going to be a little bit difficult to do, especially as a bunch of these bees aren't even inside their hives right now. Although this one currently has 3, so I'm going to move this one down, try and get it outside real quick. There we go. And I can just place this on one of the pipes, and any bees that are in here should be able to come out and interact with all the flowers and stuff. And then I just need to do that with all the other beehives as well. In the process of doing so, I accidentally picked up one of the doors when I was trying to place down a beehive, and now it's stuck in my hands. So this is a bit of a problem. If I do carry on place, okay, I place the item down weirdly here, and it looks very broken. So I'm just going to break that and place our door back down again. I'm going to leave that for now. Continue with our bees. And I think some bees might have gone out. Although with any luck, they would have gone inside where all the flowers are. And I think that might be the case. So thank God. Yeah, there's 3 bees in here and 3 bees in there. Okay, we're good. We're good. We can continue. And okay, other than that slight mishap with the door, it looks like we've managed to get all our beehives in here, and they all have at least 3 bees each. Although seemingly none of them have come out yet. I don't know if that's an issue where they can't get out. Do I need to break this? Because I think maybe the holes need to be visible without anything blocking them. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, yes, I think that's what it was. So let's make sure that all these bees can get out. And there we go, much better. All the bees hanging about now. Now, I did notice with our little cage over here that there are more bees in here. And so I don't know if I should just like kill them or make a couple more nests or something, but I think I'm just going to leave them in here for now until I make that decision. And in theory as well, we are getting some honey starting to appear in these fluid tanks. Now build up over time. And we already have almost a full tank over here, just underneath 30 buckets worth, so that will be very useful. I think what I'm going to do is actually pull some honey from our tank over here and start trying to fill in the river on the inside. Pretty sure this is going to need to be mostly source blocks, so this is going to be a bit expensive to do, but we'll get more over time, it's fine. And that's kind of part 1 of what I wanted to do today, because the other thing I need honey for is limestone. And there's no way to see it through JEI. Basically, once lava and honey interact together, like how water and lava interacts to make cobblestone, honey and lava combine to make limestone. Okay, slight tangent, but I was about to go and get some stuff ready to do our next build here. And it started raining, started storming, and oh my god, speaking of which, a lightning strike hit our driver for our truck and killed them. You can even see driver has gone missing and it happened right in front of me. Oh my god, everything's going wrong. I'm going to sleep. Anyway, I need to go and get another driver now. You know what? I'm going to come to my little mob cave because for some reason all the mobs in this area have all decided that they're going to live in this cave. So I'm going to take one of the pigs this time. Let's put this guy in and hopefully he will just continue on. There we go. Off he goes into the distance. Poor cow from before. And I think I'm going to place this limestone factory right behind me here next to our honey factory. And I mostly just need to quickly flatten this area out a little bit so we can build on top. And I definitely think I'm going to be using a mixture of spruce and diorite and some pale oak planks to go with it. Because I do like how these two look next to each other. And I think a building of about this size is what we're going to do. I'm going to have an entrance coming into the building here. And I'll have to build a little pathway down towards it. But we build up some of the front wall here to get an idea of what we want. And I do want this building pretty tall. Something about that height. And then probably add a few floor breaks in between. I think I'm going to throw in some copycat slabs in between these so that we can throw in some terracotta while keeping some depth to the building. Probably throw in some fence posts along the sides as well. Then I think at the top probably throw in kind of typical deep slate roof. And I think I actually want to continue the spruce logs through so that they stick out. And I'll probably repeat that same design on the other side. But as for the middle part, probably only going to make this bit about 2 floors tall, just for a little bit of height variance. I'm actually going to throw in a window here as we don't actually currently have any for this building yet. Don't worry, I definitely plan on having some windows on the roof. And speaking of roof windows, I think I want to place in some roof pieces here. For the explicit reason of actually placing in some of our new little bits of roof. Now these are from McCaw's. The nice thing about these ones is that these can actually open up. I think if we open up some of these, that makes the roof at least look a little bit more interesting from a distance. And actually the other thing I'd like to do here is remove some of these bits because I actually want to place some of these copycat stairs down so that we can actually add a little bit of variance to the bricks. Kind of make it look like some bits of the brick have been cut out for whatever reason. And then let me repeat this design on this other side here. And yeah, there we go. It's something like that, I think. I, of course, need to build out the rest of the sides. But I kind of like this, I always want to say like Scandinavian style kind of building. Looks a bit industrial with some like more wood elements. But yes, I think I'll build the rest of this and see you guys in a second. And there we go. There is the basic exterior done. And I also throw in a bit of a floor and some metal girders for the inside. I did do a little bit of basic landscaping around, but especially on this side, it's looking a bit plain. And the reason for that is kind of want to build another building here, so I'm not going to waste time making it look pretty, but at least it looks good enough for now. Now, as for the inside, I need to start prepping the things that I actually need to make our limestone and calcite. And of course, just for the limestone, I am just going to pretty much just use to make a cobblestone generator, but with honey instead of water. So we are going to need quite a few drills, and I'm actually going to need also a cobblestone gen to go with the limestone generator, more specifically for the limestone. So I'm just going to make a bunch of these drills. I'm going to throw both of these generators kind of in these little alcoves a little bit. And I'll probably do the same kind of 2x2 situation. Well, actually, no. I am going to do the 3x3, although perhaps slightly sunk into the ground. Although actually, you know what? I'm going to have to scrap this idea. I don't think there's going to be enough room around to place all the components. So let me think of something else. Okay, there we go. I've placed down 2 different vaults, just a little bit outside of the alcoves, honestly, at the end, because this is going to work better for us. But we'll start off with our limestone one, actually. And I think if this works like the cobblestone ones, I am going to need to place some limestone here instead. Of course, we're going to need our drills on top. And I guess we can throw in some on the sides as well, just to speed it up a little bit. Make sure everything's nicely covered up so we don't have anything spilling out everywhere. And oh wait, actually, no, I can't do it this way because I believe only drills can be waterlogged, not honey logged. So actually, we're going to just leave it to the normal drills and leave some spots for the honey to sit. Make sure that all of this is hooked up with some encased chain drives, fitting together. Bring this down to hook up to some outside power. And of course, we are going to need some honey. So if we come back in here, these two are being filled out quite nicely. We got 45 buckets in here and 8, almost 9 buckets in there. So let me just throw on a hatch and grab some honey to place in our generator. I think I'll actually throw that in the middle as I do have less honey compared to lava. So throw in our lava as well on each side. And then just more or less need to grab our power, and conveniently actually, we do have a bit of a power source out here, so we can probably come off this chain conveyor. And I think I'll have it enter the building up here. Fortunately, this is not an odd number, so it's going to be slightly offset, but that's fine. And if we hook this all up, bring the power through, perhaps actually what we could do is bring the power through the center here. And that way, instead of bringing in a chain conveyor around the back, though let's not leak a bunch of honey everywhere, preferably, I can just bring in case chain drive over there, and then I think just come directly up into it. And I'll throw on some casing so that it doesn't look so weird. But now we appear to be making a bunch of limestone, which should be appearing in this item vault. Yep, there it is. There is our limestone building up rather nicely. And I'm going to unconnect it real quick, just so it's not making too much noise. And then make our equivalent cobblestone generator over here as well. And God, how many cobblestone gens have I made this season? Too many. The logical thing would have been for me to have a centralized one, but that would have made sense. And if there's one thing that I don't make sometimes is sense. I think that's been pretty obvious throughout this series. There is our water, our lava, of course. Hook it up with our encased chain drives. And there we go. We now also have a bunch of cobblestone as well. Perfect. Now, the reason I actually need the cobblestone is for calcite specifically. To make it, we're going to need gravel, calcium-rich powder, and lava. And the calcium-rich powder is actually from crushing down limestone. Obviously gives us the calcium-rich powder and also this suspicious rock, which we'll be dealing with at a later date. So yes, I'll need to crush down the limestone into calcium, and then obviously the gravel needs to come from crushing from cobblestone. And I think what I'm going to do is do something similar to what I did in my tuff factory, where I just drop it straight out from a vault into a millstone. Probably going to add about 5 on each side, about the same length as the vaults. Make myself some more andesite funnels so we can just plop those straight in. I think have some very short belts coming out from these and moving down towards, I think, some kind of mixer. Although perhaps maybe I should have some rollers instead so they can just roll straight onto the belt. And by rollers, I mean copper drains. And by copper drains, I mean item drains. Obviously, just pop these all down here and throw on some funnels coming out of these. And I think I'm actually going to extend this out a little bit and split the belts. Because I am going to want to take some of this gravel at some point and split it out into potentially the other building I was talking about. So we'll leave that ready to go. I'm going to want to get this mixer in. Or actually it's a compactor, but whatever. I think I can just place this directly onto the belt. So brass funnel on one side and andesite on the other. Throw in our mechanical press above, as well as our encased chain drive to go up and power that. Now just make sure that only calcite is being made and coming out of this funnel. And then I can just throw in another storage vault here, I think, just to hold on to all of our calcite. Now I just need to hook this all up to power at least the belt and stuff. Though let's not forget to do a brass tunnel there with gravel facing that way. And I think what I'm going to do is throw down a gearbox onto here. And I think bring down another encased chain drive, so I can hook up this belt as well as that one. So now if I rehook this chain up again, that should start working. And then, oh, actually, I did forget that I also need to set up these as well. So I'm probably just going to use a couple of gearboxes here facing upwards with some cogs on top. Hook those up. And there we go, that's all now coming out into here. Now, there might be an issue where I get a bit of an imbalance. So perhaps I should split this belt into two. That might be a better idea, actually. Okay, there we go. I split this up into three. One for gravel, one for the calcium, and then also one for our suspicious rocks as well, which is going to go into a separate vault over here. And I also converted all of these into brass belt funnels so that they only output at 64 at a time, because otherwise this belt's going to get overwhelmed very quickly. But yeah, the last thing I need to do for the actual calcium is actually get in some lava into here. And of course, we already have some lava pipes under the ground here, but not really going in this direction. So I'm probably going to have to pick up from here and head underneath all the rails and stuff. So let's come into our train track maker and start bringing the pipe over. Sure, I'm probably going to need another pump to make it all the way there too. Now our lava goes pretty far down this pipe based on the particles. Obviously definitely not all the way that we need it to go. So I think I'm going to actually pull off the power for our bowl factory here to give it a little bit of an extra boost. And there we go. I now have the lava coming all the way to here, although it's filling up very slowly. I did end up adding an extra pump kind of nearby our lumber yard here just to get it the extra way, but I need to figure out how to increase the amount of lava getting here. It definitely seems like a small amount. I guess some of this is being piped towards what I think is our tuff factory. Yeah, it's filling up all these basins for our andesite and tuff, so I guess that's where most of the lava is going. Because if I do a quick test real quick and just remove that line and head back over here, okay, yeah, that is now notably getting more lava than it did before. So do I need to double up the pipes? That might be something I have to do. I didn't think that was going to be something I had to do, but maybe it is. Once for now, I think instead of adding more pipes to the situation, I think I am just going to turn off the system for now so that we can redirect some of that lava to our calcite farm here, because we certainly have enough tuff for now. I ended up changing this system again a little bit so that the gravel and the calcite was separated out. Now we're making calcite relatively quickly, and any suspicious rock is going in here as well. Yeah, I think now the last thing I want to do is kind of decorate the inside of this place, make it a bit more factory-like, as well as the outside of the building. And I'll see you momentarily. There we go, there's the last bit of decorations done. Added a little bit of a chimney coming out the sides, obviously a bunch of foliage and some paths going around. And on the inside, add a bit of a limestone and calcite pile, added some fences around the conveyor belt, added little bridges as well so we can still move over things without being dragged along. And then I also did one more thing where I finally placed in some honey blocks inside the bottle. Now it's not actually completely full, it's only like the edges, because turns out it takes a while for this amount of honey to be made, but that's okay. I can always fill it up as time goes by. But anyway, I think that's all I have time for today. Thank you everyone for watching today. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye for now.